Good morning. Globally, markets and policymakers are digesting a more volatile mix of war risk, politics and central bank pressure. On the global economy, the IMF's latest World Economic Outlook has turned sharply darker, explicitly framing the outlook as being in the shadow of war following the outbreak of conflict in the Middle East in late February. That shift matters because it raises the odds of renewed inflation shocks through energy and shipping, while also weakening growth expectations. In the United States, President Trump has escalated his confrontation with the Federal Reserve, threatening to fire Chair Jerome Powell if he does not leave in May. The Financial Times reports Trump is also refusing to halt a criminal probe involving the central bank chair, while former Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen likened the push to cut rates to banana republic behavior. A Fed official is warning of a double danger from the Iran war and tariffs, with a risk that the public misreads price rises as persistent inflation. On global conflict, Israel-Lebanon tensions remain acute. SBS reports Israel and Lebanon have begun rare direct talks in Washington for the first time in more than 3 decades, but the same reporting notes deep divisions and ongoing violence could stall progress. The BBC reports 3 paramedics were killed in successive Israeli strikes in Lebanon, which Lebanon's government condemned. Separately, ABC's live coverage reports President Trump saying the Iran war is close to over and signaling a preference for a deal, while strikes continue in the region. The Financial Times adds a significant intelligence dimension, reporting leaked documents alleging Iran used a Chinese spy satellite capability to help target U.S. bases during the March war. In Europe, Ukraine is again calling for more aid as Russia continues daily drone strikes, with ABC reporting Western officials and analysts saying Ukraine has disrupted Russia's planned spring offensive and retaken some territory. On artificial intelligence and the technological revolution, ABC reports on AI-driven dynamic pricing in online fashion, where algorithms can shift prices in real time based on demand, customer behavior and inventory. The practical takeaway is that consumers may see wider price dispersion. Some shoppers pay less, others more, depending on timing and signals the system infers. Turning to Australia, defence and security settings are moving. The Sydney Morning Herald reports $53 billion is set to be ploughed into Australia's defence budget, and the conversation says the Albanese government will commit to lifting defence spending to 3% of GDP, but under a revised definition of what counts. Politically, The Guardian reports opposition leader Angus Taylor has announced an immigration policy focused on a crackdown and an emphasis on Australian values, with commentary warning it could carry political risks for the coalition. In governance and institutions, the conversation reports the High Court has invalidated part of Victoria's Electoral Act on political donations, finding it favoured major parties over independents and smaller parties. That ruling is likely to sharpen scrutiny of donation and electoral rules more broadly, including federally. On the Australian economy, SBS reports farmers are warning grocery prices could rise by up to 20% due to ongoing diesel and fertilizer supply constraints. In housing and construction, SBS reports the construction industry is calling for once-in-a-generation reform ahead of housing crisis talks, including changes to the National Construction Code, arguing regulatory costs and overheads are biting. For local developments in Western Australia, the SMH reports Premier Roger Cook will announce the first 5 projects to receive priority status under WA's new state development laws, the first major test of the controversial legislation rushed through Parliament. That's the latest on the key material developments to start your day.